Like I said last week, Derek's bringing it, so be respectful. If they're not, call them out right in the middle of it.
That's what Dan does. I mean, might as well. All right. How many people here know me? Because all the hands aren't up. That's why I'm up here. I wanted to come up here because as a leader, how am I supposed to expect you guys to come talk to me if you don't even know anything about me? So I wanted to basically, a couple weeks ago, this spirit hit me pretty hard, and I've been back quiet, haven't said much, and I need to open up and let you guys know who I am and why I am, and basically my journey finding the Lord. So a lot of this nobody knows. My wife and maybe one or two other people know. So before I get started, I have two scriptures that have stuck with me and have pretty much embedded in me. So the first one is Ephesians 6:4, which is, "Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger by the way you treat them. Rather, bring them up with the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord." And the second one is James 1:20 and 21, which is, "Human anger does not produce the righteousness God desires. So get rid of all the filth and evil in your lives and humbly accept the word God has planted in your hearts, for it has the power to save your souls." So I wanted to share those first because it'll explain why they've embedded in me. So I was born and raised right here in town. And has anybody seen those buildings behind Diamond View School? The thrash ones that are graffitied up? Yeah, I was born right there. Real nice. Growing up, my mom, she cleaned hotel rooms from the earliest part I can remember, then drove buses for the school. My dad he worked at the mill until he got laid off, and then would do random jobs to keep us afloat. I'd love to tell you I grew up knowing the Lord, but I didn't. My family didn't, except for my grandparents. My grandpa was from Italy. He came over when he was an infant, but his parents were Catholic from Italy, so really Catholic. And so, yeah, I didn't have much knowledge or anything of the Lord. I grew up, my dad, when he lost his job from the mill, he was an alcoholic. And he had a lot of anger. And he took a lot of that out on me as a kid. I remember I was in first grade, so I was Mason's age. I remember going to school with black eyes, bloody lips, bloody noses. I would wear glasses, sunglasses, going to McKinley School. So at an early age, I learned to shut down and not open up to anybody, except my only outlet was my grandparents. My grandma and my grandpa were pretty much my only outlet. My mom knew, but I think she was scared, but it took me a long time to accept what had happened and forgive. So I grew up, got into high school, and did a lot of things I probably shouldn't have done. I drank a lot. I partied a lot. And I was going nowhere quick. I moved out of my house when I was a senior and ended up staying with my grandparents, which was pretty much a saving grace for me. I joined the military before I even graduated. And yeah, graduate high school June 2001. I go to Marine Corps boot camp, and I graduate Marine Corps boot camp September 14th, 2001, 3 days after 9/11. So, in boot camp, 9/11 happens. They shut down everything. Airports are shut down. I had bought my family tickets to come down, and I had no way of calling because everything was locked down. But luckily they were able to come down. They drove all the way down, and I graduated boot camp and went through the School of Infantry. And once I graduated that, I was deployed into the Marine Force with the 3rd Light Armored Recon Battalion and served overseas 2 years. I did a year in Japan and on the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, and then I did a year in Iraq from 2003 to 2004. And being that young, 18, 19, 20, and still holding on to all that anger, and then going over there and seeing things nobody should see. I was in Operation Phantom Fury, which is pretty much the Battle of Fallujah. I've been through multiple battles. I was hit with an IED, drove over an IED. I still don't know how I'm here. Just by the grace of God. Now, then, So, while we're in Fallujah, I had gotten a phone call through the sat phone. They came and got me and pulled me off the line, and it was a Red Cross phone call that my grandfather passed away. That one, it really hit me because he was pretty much my father growing up. He did everything for me a father should have done that my dad never did. He played catch with me. He took me to swimming lessons, all that stuff. And so I get back from that deployment and I'm discharged. I do my 4 years, so I'm out not too long after that. And from everything of going through what I went through as a kid, what I had seen overseas, pretty much both of my outlets at that point passing away. I started drinking a lot, and that lasted a long time. And I don't know where I would be if the Lord wouldn't have brought my wife into the picture. So I'd gone almost a decade, pretty much drinking my life away. I'd gotten a good job, but you know, when you're wasting everything on stuff that you think is taking the pain away, and it doesn't. But one day my mom told me the story of how my grandfather died. She had told me she's glad that I didn't or wasn't there for his final days. He had had pancreatic cancer, and his final week he lost a lot of weight. She stayed with him. He could barely walk down the hallway. And during his final night, it was bad. And my mom, who didn't know the Lord, prayed that the Lord would take him and end the pain that he was in. And she said as soon as she prayed, my grandfather lifted both of his arms to the ceiling and pretty much gave his last breath. And she said she knew that the Lord came and took him. And she had kept that story from me for a while. And I still did not know the Lord when she told me that, but I knew He was with him. And that's when I started I thank the Lord, even though I didn't even know him. I thank the Lord. And not too long after that, he brought my wife into my life, and it completely changed my life. And I'm grateful, and I will always be grateful. And it took a long time to forgive my father for what happened, but I did. And the Lord's blessed me with 4 boys, and I couldn't be more proud of them. He blessed me with an amazing wife, and I couldn't ask for anything more. I will always be grateful for the Lord and what he did for me. I had to share this with you guys because I needed you to know me, and I don't mean to be the quiet guy in the back, but I'll get through it. But yeah, I just needed to share myself with you guys. So thank you guys for listening, and appreciate every one of you guys. So if you ever need anything, I'm always here. I'll always listen. Even if you think people haven't gone through things that you're going through, some of us have. We all have a different journey. Every one of us. Not one of us has the same path, same journey. We all have different roads to go. But we're here, I'm here to help you guys along your way the best I can. And if you ever need it, I'm here. Always. So, thank you guys.